I don't have them organized, which is a serious problem. No, I mean, they're in with a lot of other junk. And actually, the problem is, I left my phone home. So you're spared, guys. Shoot. Nuts, I was charging it. Next time,
This kid's I know we've met.
no, he's sick.
Your name.
And
It's been very long time.
I knew you. He's tested
Good.
Good. How are the down? Not fever, but exhaustion.
Which baby? Mine. I have one.
I'm actually.
Oh, okay.
No, you're good.
We were just
I forgot about Glenn, but what else is new?
family.
Really? Yours are, what of yours is the, well, Alex, you know the best. Yeah. And then he's Maddie, and yeah, his wife just bought a house.
City.
27. Carrie's real birthday. Lives by Vitas. And my 24-year-old sister is going married. She and her boyfriend is
This was
Rachel.
Tuesday.
I don't
have any symptoms of autism.
Oh, Rachel wasn't in bed.
My daughter,
Right.
I feel like she was in London with my other daughter.
And then Emily and the baby. There's a mother is
She said she was okay.
sophomore critic. Weird. And she nesters. It's really nice. So yeah, she's especially
Tested negative.
Oh, she's
That's
funny.
RSV. The norovirus, not norovirus, it's number 8. It's not her.
Yeah.
It's another common virus.
Oh, great. There's some of that right in here.
But it's really,
Yeah, this is wrong.
it's only.
Stephanie, it's been a long time.
Yes.
Yeah. You haven't got it recognized. Hardly I did.
It's only a
Yeah.
problem for.
And this is our baby.
Yeah.
This
He
is the
was-
this is the fetus from
He
when
was
we
a
were
Midor, yeah.
Right, right.
Last time.
Oh, thanks for coming here when John comes out.
Yeah, what?
It's on my mind because it's next year.
Go take the other one that we did there.
No, I didn't think you were.
Video.
My kids have gone home, my grandkids have gone home. And you're going to
No, but I have heard since I was. Hasn't been down.
Thanks.
10.
That's your name. Your name. Hello, no.
Wow.
Is that yours?
Yeah, I'm part of the old from
Hello, everybody.
You've been up for a while.
What units did your
Unless you want to.
Oh, they've been in, the big girls are 14, 15, 17.
Yeah, they're going to come and see him. Sorry. Yeah.
Not 7 weeks. If it,
No, I just wanted, no, I had COVID. I was novated until,
How are you feeling?
the only reason
Yeah,
I
I
tested
worked there
myself,
for.
I had COVID cold. It was because I was going out to be with a group of older people, and that's higher risk.
It was my
Thank you for your
pleasure.
service.
I'm glad I can't say that. Yes. Anyway, nice to see you.
And without the
Hope
papers,
everybody
it
else
would run a
is
lot more
healthy.
smoothly. Thank you.
I
Hi.
didn't think to send them all.
Hi.
Nice shirt. I'm John.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi.
So you're the community's new
New basketball coach.
which is why we're really here. I feel like our team
Our team is high this year.
So that's me, so. No, it's
They mostly put them.
I mean, it is. We're all.
Which team are you? Are you the West Y? Are you with Carl? That's the other team. Corey. Cool.
So,
I got roped into it. I did not sign up.
Oh, I thought the basketball coach was your main thing in Texas.
I would trade. Like totally worth it. Yeah. I'd give it. That's why I say that's what gives us a lot.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom. How are you?
Where did you go?
I don't tell you.
It's my friend Teresa.
Better than
Oh,
It's awesome to meet you in the courts. Say hi in the courts. So do you practice Monday?
and I'm sitting next to her.
You're right after us. I see all the sixth graders running.
tall 6 years.
Yeah.
How I but it was
Do you go to Hamilton?
Yeah. Well, I just say once you get settled, I'll put it back on.
This one.
right. Yes, I was in
School.
Got 7 minutes. So you got a couple minutes.
So thanks for saying it's awesome before you say it.
Well, I know the librarian. Yeah, she comes.
like me.
Yeah. Well, I also.
I am too.
So
No,
it's
but
the V.
she's from the east side. Originally. Oh, and I was
Welcome to
Thank you. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Beth Ken. The Beth Bells here.
And she's talking about it's she's my yes. Yeah, right. You're flying under the radar.
I hope you're gonna come on March 1st.
Weird.
I'm sure you're allowed to have that. I'm sure you have your permission. No, we live right across the street. We used to be more active.
I grew up here in this part.
Yeah, we live right by the university.
You know, but yes.
But they diagonal.
It's a very short talk. Are you a social action committee member? What did you do?
Yeah.
Oh, you had. It's really great to be there. Okay. This is me.
90%, yeah. Though I will say that it's that's the part.
I talk to one of you. I would say, I say, I'm from the west side. Then some people say,
No, you gotta just go to the world. You should go.
You can plant the first thing you need to give a crop. That's what it is.
Yes. Rotation up on the worm. If you notice what's on the slide.
so I already found You're not very good.
Pretty cool, all right? Yes, still good.
Sorry, you've already heard this how many times? Tracy can tell you. I was
Aaron knows it, so I said, I don't know more than anybody does. I'm saying this. Yeah, okay.
I've never played guitar before, but like I'm sure it'll be. Yeah, send me what, because I want to do the arrangement that you all are learning, so I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing.
I don't even know if they're on the Greek and Spanish.
That's just about the same thing.
my sister. So
I like it. Looks good.
She's out there, and I don't know if she's still. Well, it was.
are you sitting there?
It was very disruptive.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As folks are entering and getting settled, we want to settle ourselves and fully arrive in this space. So friends, we'll sing a nigun, wordless melody, just to help us fully arrive, fully settle for Shabbat. Don't need any words yet. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la.
Shabbat Shalom. Just invite everybody to take one big deep breath, and we'll take a moment of silence. Let Shabbat fill your lungs. As the parent of a 10, 8, and 4-year-old, that was definitely the highlight of my week so far. I know some of us are real pros at that silent meditation, maybe doing it as, for a week at a time. But for me, even that just moment of Shabbat is a nice way to enter. It's a delight to welcome you to Temple Bethel, whether you're here each Friday night or whether this is your first time here. We send a special welcome to those who are joining us over the live stream as well. A Shabbat Shalom to you too. This is a really special Shabbat. Our social action Shabbat, where we'll be talking about our role in our city's stewardship and our role in the city's environment. We also know that we're honoring Dr. Martin Luther King weekend this Shabbat. We'll have a couple of reflections, or we'll share some readings of Dr. King. And then for all of us in the Jewish world, we know that this is a tenuous moment with news of Israel, news of ceasefire, news of hostage release. And some of us have been glued to the newspapers or to the radios to hear what's happening. And while we feel optimism that hostages hopefully will soon come home, we know that there's still precarious moments for so many in that country and for all the Palestinians in Gaza as well. Anyhow, it's so wonderful to be here, to be joined by some of our members of our Promise Band and Cantor Nami for this beautiful Friday night Shabbat evening. I'm so warm today in Madison. I heard it's not going to get cold again. Is that right? So the daffodils are... No, that's not true, is it? So one thing that will always bring us warmth is our Shabbat candles. And it's a delight to ask one of the chairs of our Social Action and Social Justice Committee, Marcia Vandercook, to come forward and light our Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'hadlik ner v'tzivanu Hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you who commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Continue our worship with the words of Or Zarua on page 132 in our prayer book.
Or Zarua Latzadik Ul Yisrael Lev Simcha Or Zarua Latzadik Uyisraelem Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik Uyisraelem Simcha. Uyisraelem Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik Uyisraelem Simcha. Uyisraelem Simcha. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Or Zarua Latzadik Uyisraelem Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik Uyisraelem Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik Uyisraelem Simcha. Uyisraelem Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik Uyisraelem Simcha. Uyisraelem Simcha. Continue our singing with the words of Lecha Dodi, the Kabbalistic poem that welcomes Shabbat. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and before that final verse, we'll rise and we'll face the setting sun or the door that leads outside to where the sun may have set. Yai la lai 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 la 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 la 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 la 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 lai. Lai la lai lai ya la 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 la. Lecha Dodi Nikat Kala. Zachor v'libor echad ishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad limu tiveret le'lichila lecha Dodi likrat kala. Shabbat Nechov V'Nelcha Yihi Mekor Averacha Merosh Mikedem Nesucha Sof Ma'aseh Lemachshava Tchila Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala. Daveri kivod Adonai alayich nigla lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Oi v'shalom Ateret ba'ala Yam b'simcha u'v'tzola Ochem unei am segula Oi chala Oi chala Lecha Dodi likat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela lecha dodi likat kala b'nei Shabbat Turn the page. If you look halfway down, you'll see an indentation in the Hebrew as well as in the English on the bottom of the page. This is our special psalm for Shabbat, but you'll see deep within this psalm are some of our deep tree metaphors. I'm reading it in the bottom paragraph. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no wrong.
Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat.
Tzadika tamar yivrach Ge'erez balvanon yizkeh shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenun b'seiva l'shenim v'rananim yiyu lehagin ki Adonai zuri v'lo avlata bo. If you're able, I invite you to rise. Our call to worship, the prayer of the Baruch Hu on 146. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. There's a reflection by the great civil rights leader and United States Congressman John Lewis. There's an old African proverb, when you pray, move your feet. As a nation, if we care for the beloved community, we must move our feet, our hands, our hearts, our resources to build and not to tear down, to reconcile and not to divide, to love and not to hate, to heal and not to kill. In the final analysis, we are one people, one family, one house. 152, the words of the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Uto Le'olam Va'ed.
Be seated. We'll chant the words of the V'ahavta, the meditation from the book of Deuteronomy, together on 154.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadivarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam vishivtecha beveitecha uvlechtecha vaderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot ayadecha vehayu letotafot beinenecha uktavtam al mizuzot beitecha uvisharecha lema'an tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem.
Dr. King said at his Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech in Oslo of 1964, I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. This is why right temporarily defeated is stronger than evil triumphant. I believe that even amidst today's mortar bursts and whining bullets, there is still hope for a brighter tomorrow. I believe that wounded justice, lying prostrate on the blood-flowing streets of our nations, can be lifted from this dust of shame to reign supreme among the children of men. I have the audacity to believe that peoples everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, education and culture for their minds, and dignity, equality, and freedom for their spirits. I believe that what self-centered men have torn down, men other-centered can build up. I still believe that one day mankind will bow before the altars of God and be crowned triumphant over war and bloodshed, and nonviolent redemptive good will proclaim the rule of the land. And the lion and the lamb shall lie down together, and every man shall sit under his own vine and fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. I still believe that we shall overcome. This faith can give us courage to face the uncertainties of the future. It will give our tired feet new strength as we continue our forward stride toward the city of freedom. When our days become dreary with low hovering clouds and our nights become darker than 1,000 midnights, we will know that we are living in the creative turmoil of a genuine civilization struggling to be born. Our song of that struggling civilization attempting to be born is the Micha Mocha 158.
Micha Mocha Va'erim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Alechutecha Ra'u Vanecha Bokei Ayam Livnei Moshe Umiriam Zeini Anu Ve'amru Adonai Imloch Le'olam Va'ed. V'ne'emar V'ata Adonai et Yaakov Uge'alo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai
Shemom.
Ga'al Israel.
Page 5 in the program is the words of our nighttime prayer, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ve'hamitenu shomreinu l'chaim Hashkivenu Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ve'hamitenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ve'hamitenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ve'hamitenu shomreinu l'chaim 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 l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת
Shabbat Yamim Asa Adonai
Asa Adonai
Et Hashamayim Et Haaretz V'shamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat Lasot Et HaShabbat Midorotam Berit Olam Uvayom Hashvi'i Shabbat Vayinafash
Shabbat Vayinafash
Shabbat Vayinafash V'shamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat Lasot Et HaShabbat Midorotam Berit Olam V'shamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat Lasot Et HaShabbat Midorotam Berit Olam.
If you're able, I invite you to once again rise as we enter the Tefillah, the Amidah, with the opening meditation on page 164. We'll then have opportunities for silent meditation, either the words of the prayer book or the words of your heart. And when you're done with your personal prayer, you may be seated.
Adonai Hananana Svatai Tivtach Hananana Ufi Yagid Ufi Yagid Tegilatecha Hananana Adonai Ananana Svatai Tivtach Ananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Ananana Adonai Ananana Svatai Tivtach Ananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Ananana Adonai Ananana Svatai Tivtach Ananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
it's page 6 in the program, that we have a meditation on peace inspired by a Dr. King quote. Oh, 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 oh. Try repeating that after me. Oh, 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 oh. Night cannot drive out the night. Only light, only light. Night cannot drive out the night. Only light, only light. It's your turn now. Oh, 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 oh. We're gonna go to war cannot end. War cannot end all these wars. Only peace, only peace. War cannot end all these wars. Only peace, only peace. Oh, 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 Shalom, oh say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol toshvei Tevet, ve'imru amen, ve'imru amen, ve'imru amen, ve'imru amen. Amen.
Page 371. Our prayer for healing, renewal of body, renewal of spirit. If you're praying for someone in need of healing this Shabbat, I invite you to share their name out loud at this time so we can add them to our prayer. Sing together.
Misheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheverach imotenu mikor habracha
Aleinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I've been greeted with such warmth and compassion by everyone I've really met at Temple Bethel, and my family and I are so touched, but nobody has worked as hard as Marta Karlov in helping me and our family adapt to Madison and Temple Bethel, and I'm inspired by her, and I'm inspired by her commitment to this synagogue, her commitment to the Jewish people, and also her commitment to social justice causes near and far. And it's a delight to invite the president of Temple Bethel to welcome tonight's speaker.
Thank you, John. That's too kind. Hello, everyone. I am Marta Karlov and a proud member of the Social Action Committee for 7 years now. Today, I'm here to introduce our guest, Mel Aske, who will tell us about a project called the Tree Canopy Collaborative, which is a Dane County initiative that is dedicated to not only protecting but also growing the population of trees in the county. And she will tell you why this is important. Now, I had some words to say about Melanie, but I realized they're in the program. Therefore, I found, though, and will share with you, an interesting tidbit that I just learned. She met her husband in Kenya while he was working for Google Earth, and she was getting her master's in conservation in East African conservation. So very impressive. After Melanie's talk, we actually have a Onyx Shabbat, Onyx, so please join us. But in addition to that, as a follow-up, the Social Action Committee is offering some opportunity for you to get involved. So on Mitzvah Day, we'll be doing some removal of invasives at the Arboretum, and then also during the summer, look for a tree planting opportunity. Very exciting. In addition to that, we wanted to tell you about a few things happening coming up. There's a couple of events that are that are environmentally related. One on January 27th and the other one on February 23rd. And I wanted to for sure mention that the Social Justice Conference hosted by the Women for Reform Judaism is happening April 4 to 7. So please make sure you take a look at that. The idea is to mobilize collective action for a more just and compassionate world for all. All of this information is in our website, of course, and in the program. And now I'd like to please welcome Melanie Aske.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. I am just delighted to share this service with you. So as Marta said, I'm from Dane County, the Office of Energy and Climate Change. So I thought maybe I'd share a little bit about what our office does and how it relates to why we're talking about trees. So Dane County Office of Energy and Climate Change is in charge of enacting the goals set forth in our climate action plan. So we have really ambitious county-wide goals to reduce our carbon emissions, and that includes both our internal operations, like what we do in our Dane County facilities, but that includes the entirety of the county too. So that involves residents, it involves nonprofits, businesses. There is a role for everybody in taking part in the climate action plan. So we have, as I said, really ambitious goals, cutting county-wide emissions in half by 2030 with carbon neutrality by 2050. Internally, we want carbon neutrality by 2030, and we're already at 100% renewable, so we have met that goal. So we're well on our way to making progress towards these goals, but we're only the county. We don't have say in what everyone does, and they're each in their own houses, and the ways they take action, how the business community takes action, and how we collectively take action as a community. So that's why I love to share what we do and how you can take part too, because everyone has a role to play in the goals for our climate action. So why are we talking about trees here? So in addition to emission reductions, we're equally focused on building thriving communities that are resilient to the impacts of climate change. So we know that climate change is here and it's affecting people here in Dane County right now. Unfortunately, we also know the people who are the most underserved are at the most risk for being impacted by those changes. So we are very, very focused on how we can equitably move towards adaptations that will serve our community, but also set us up for long-term success. Because climate change touches everything. So there's housing, there's food security, there's flooding, there's everything about how a community functions is stronger when you have a resilient community. So it just so happens everything that you can do to mitigate against climate impacts are things that build vibrant, thriving communities that serve the most in need. So it works out perfectly, right? So our co-equal goal is to reduce emissions and produce these adaptations and long-term resiliency come into play, in the forefront here right now is trees. So one way we can build these resilient communities is by trees. And I don't have to tell you, trees are awesome. Trees are fantastic. What do? People enjoy looking at them. There are mental health benefits. There are economic benefits. You spend more time shopping at shopping centers when there's trees and there's shade around you. People enjoy shady neighborhoods. There's, houses sell for more money in shady neighborhoods. That's just a fact. Let's see, the flood mitigation, you can talk about the environmental benefits too. When you think about the floods a couple of years ago, having trees is a big component to flood mitigation. But the impacts of climate change are here too. And so when you're talking about increased heat health risks, shady trees are one way to mitigate against these heat islands that we have in our communities because of the impacts of climate change. Unfortunately, though, we do have a history of redlining across the county. So we know that there are pockets of underserved communities that not only don't have as much access to food security or shopping centers and economic prosperity, one of the things that they also don't have access to are the same number of trees. Where we see poor neighborhoods, we see fewer trees, and that's just a fact if you look at the data. So one way that we focus on equity is looking at through the lens of trees, and where there's shade, people prosper. So there are underserved communities across Dane County that are less able to cope with climate impacts. And trees are one way that we continue to segregate our community by not having equal access to the benefits they provide. So on average, tree cover is 1.1 times more in areas of the county with fewer people of color. So why should we not have equal access to these benefits? Alongside that, you have these big pockets of heat disparity. So these heat islands that you get, they tend to be in these underserved areas. And so who is being impacted by these extreme heat events? Well, it's people who are underserved, and that's not fair. But the great news about Dane County is that we are taking action, and we are so aligned in what we as a community value, and we have so much community behind us making sure that we're trying to rectify these inequalities, and one lens of it is the trees. So lots of people are talking about this issue, and so in our office, we saw all these different conversations going on, and all these conversations were not coming together around the same goal. So we decided to create the Tree Canopy Collaborative. So it is a network of academic professionals, nonprofits, other governments across Dane County, schools. There's a variety of people who are invested in trees for different reasons. We have public health involved because it's a public health issue. We have researchers from UW-Madison looking at so everyone is interested in, but you can be interested in for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. We all care about trees. So we came together a couple of years ago and started working collectively to figure out what we can do. And the first step was really figuring out what the extent of the problem is. So we spent a long time looking at the data and the satellite images of where trees were, how shade was distributed, and figuring out different areas where we needed to prioritize action. And I think that we can all agree that a good place to start is where people need trees the most. And so our focus on the Tree Canopy Collaborative is underserved populations across Dane County, and where we can, there's either been a history of fewer trees, or more trees have been taken due to disease. We do have a lot of disease impacts in the last couple of years from the ash borer, so there have been like a big wipeout of trees, and so making sure that we can repopulate those trees as well as rectify these inequities. So we collectively meet and trade information and resources to ensure a healthy canopy, inform the public, and provide resources to take action. So that includes tree plantings, that includes resource distribution. When there's the spongy moth outbreak of last year, like how can residents look at their own trees and make sure that they can keep their own trees healthy? So the great news about what we can do about this issue is that most of the plantable land in Dane County is on private property. There's a ton of opportunity in parks, yes, and I think that that's a great conversation to have. I think that, especially in the city of Madison, I would consider our greenways, like, you know, the space between the sidewalk and like your house and stuff, like on the curb, like those are pretty well covered. There are gaps, and our city forester is more than happy to like find a gap and put a tree there. But like county-wide, we are doing okay on the greenways. It's really the parks and private spaces where we have the most opportunities to put trees. And so that's where the community comes in. So there's so many ways that you can take action here, and that starts in literally your own backyard. So what I focus on first here is people always want to plant a tree, and that is fantastic, and you should plant trees, but you should also take care of the trees that you already have, because how long does it take for shade to actually grow? Many years. And yes, it is good for your children, and yes, you need to do it, and that's important. But you also make sure that the ones that you have don't perish. So the first thing you want to do is take action in your own house. Like, are your trees healthy? If it's a drought, you can water your trees, and you should be watering your trees, even if they're adult trees. And so I always recommend that people take a look at UW Extension. They have a wealth of resources. They are a huge partner of ours. If you want to know how to take better care of the trees that you have, go to UW Extension, and they will talk to you on the phone if you just give them a call, or you can look at like the huge wealth of resources that they have to learn how to prune your trees, when to water your trees, how to water your trees, how to take care of what you already have. The second thing is you can always plant trees if there's space, and I encourage you to do that too. So be thoughtful about how you plant and where you plant. Right tree, right place. Maybe that giant oak tree shouldn't go right next to your house, because in a couple of years it might be a problem. So think about the long term here, and think about what kind of space you envision for your own residents and where trees might be a part of that. And trees aren't for everyone. Like, you have to rake those leaves up, but they can be a part of some solutions. One 25-foot tree, that can reduce your energy consumption by 8 to 12% on your house if it's shading your house. So they actually have a very significant impact on your energy use in your house. And they not only break the wind, but they also make sure that you are shaded in the summertime. And so it's fantastic. The other thing I would say is, beyond just your own house, like, we're building community here, and we want to build like thriving communities. So how can you take action in your community? So if you want to become part of the solution in county parks, we have a program for that. So you can always become a certified land steward with Dane County, and they will teach you how to take care of trees and how to help remove invasive species, and then they'll set you out on projects, and they'll tell you a time and a place, and you'll come and you'll help be a part of the solution. So I absolutely encourage you to take part in your community and making sure that you're not only looking inward, but you're also looking towards the solution across the county, because what we're trying to do here is not just fix what's going on in our house. We want to look at our whole community. So I just want to maybe conclude with this. Trees, each individual tree is something, but it's really just this more than the sum of its parts here. When you have a shaded canopy, you have something that's special, and it's not just one tree. All of a sudden, your community changes, and when you take care of that community, you're taking care of each other, and that's how you show that you care. So this is a really easy way to get involved and think about what you can do. Take a small action. It feels so overwhelming. Sometimes it just takes one little thing, and then you're like, I can do that one thing. Then you might do another thing. It's just a little entry point into what you can do to not only help our goals for our climate action plan, but also to help your community. So I want to thank everyone for their interest in this topic, because it's super important to me personally, and I feel like being a Madison resident, one of the things I love about my job is that not only do I get to talk to people about this, but I get to live the benefits of it. I love living in a shady neighborhood, and I wish that on everybody. So I'll be around afterwards if you want to talk to me, and we can figure out solutions, and I can direct you towards resources. So thank you.
Thank you, Mel, for your talk and your work for Dane County. Your talk was, on some levels also very Jewish. We know the deep metaphors of trees within our tradition, whether it's God's commandment in the very beginning of Genesis to till and tend the earth, or our Torah as our tree of life, or as we think about our Jewish calendar, we know the next major holiday that we will celebrate will be Tu B'Shvat, our New Year's of our trees, and to know that not only do we have the opportunity to learn from you and learn about the work that you do and the work of the county, but also to the deep well of our own tradition, and how do we respond to the tree work as Jews and people who love Jews. If you're able, I invite you to rise. We are on page 7 of the supplement, and then we're going to go right into Aleinu, which is also part of this.
It's on the same page.
Page
I
7.
took a line. It's hard to find this. It's a phrase that's tucked into the middle of Aleinu, but it captures this, that we take all of this into our hearts. Everything that we've done in this service, in this worship service, to carry out with us into Shabbat coming this weekend, but also into the week and days ahead. All you have to do, friends, is repeat after me. Vahashevota,
Hashevota,
Elevavecha, Ki Adonai,
Adonai,
Hu HaElohim,
Elohim,
Vahashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai, Hu HaElohim, Vahashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai, Hu HaElohim, V'nemar, V'haya Adonai, V'melech al kol haaretz, Vayom hahu, Vayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo, U'shemo, U'shemo echad.
have a seat. With all the news coming from Israel in Gaza, which is so much on our mind, I wanted to read the poem by the most amazing Rachel Goldberg Polin. She wrote this poem before she found out that her son Hirsch had died, but after she knew he had been kidnapped. There's a lullaby that says your mother will cry 1,000 tears before you grow to be a man. I have cried 1,000,000 tears. We all have. And I know that way over there, there's another woman who looks just like me, because we are all so very similar. And she has also been crying all those tears, a sea of tears. They all taste the same. Can we take them, gather them up, remove the salt, and pour them over our desert of despair, and plant one tiny seed, a seed wrapped in fear, trauma, pain, war, and hope, and see what grows? Could it be that this woman, so very like me, that she and I could be sitting together in 50 years, laughing without teeth because we have drunk so much sweet tea together, and now we are so very old, and our faces are creased like worn-out brown paper bags, and our sons have their own grandchildren, and our sons have long lives. It is all a dream. Is it all a dream? A fantasy, a prophecy, one tiny seed. Our prayer of memory, our mourner's Kaddish, is on page 598. If I read the name of your loved one, I invite you to rise in their honor, and we'll rise as one community to say words of mourner's Kaddish together. In this period of Shiva, the first week since passing, the first week since our funeral, we remember with love Dorothy Schmidt, the grandmother of Brian and Carly Jacobson, the great-grandmother of Zoe and Levi, Vera Ortegui's grandmother of Mark Anderson, and Tanya Anderson, the great-grandmother of Lily and Sam, and our member, David Renner, the son of Lynn and Craig, and the brother of Sophia. In this period of Shloshim, we remember with love Leonard Mitzman, Patricia Fells, Jeff Rosenfeld, Ellen Young, Earl William Mylerea, Tamara Zimmerman Colgate, Mary Strayer, and Stephen Barry Byer. This period of Yahrzeit, the anniversary since death, we remember with love Irving Abrams, Benjamin Agins, Rebecca Barvim, Alan Benderson, Abraham Blumenfeld, Helen Bulletin, Raquel Salas Cortizos, Sherman Dutch, Karen Ann Edelstein, Joseph Ellenbogen, Frida Goldstein Ellis, Dina Lillian Felber, Stephen Fleischman, Esther Flexer, Andrew W. Gauss, Paul Goldsmith, Albert Goldstein, David G. Hansen, Bernard Kaufman, Sidney Kaufman, Regina Persion Krasno, Jacob Landsman, Myra Laufer, Nanette Maidenberg, Frank M. Melnick, Belle Mintz, Frank J. Morea, Bertha Mirozinski, Bennett Nathanson, Lorraine Newman, Ruben Orenstein, William Peterman, Jenny Plotkin, Jack Polens, Jeanette Rabinovitz, Jack Radwim, Lauren Rockoff, Raya Roginski, Rabbi Joseph Schwartz, Susan Shapiro, Fanny Brumfer Siegel, Norma Sondler, Henry C. Sweet, Louis A. Turman, and Emmanuel Zola. If you're remembering somebody else, I invite you to rise at this time and share their name out loud.
Ruth Rubin.
Rise as one community, 598. Yitkadal v'yikadash
Shemei Rabba, ve'alma divrach iruteich v'yamlich malchuteich, v'chayichon uvyomechon, u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kari ve'imru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba mevarach le'alam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei t'kudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'aniran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'imromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru Amen.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. And we say together, Amen.
Amen.
Have a seat. Page 8, we'll sing our final song for the evening, I Have a Voice. This song is very popular for our students in our Religious Action Center students, so you'll get to know it as well. And then please linger and say hi to somebody after the service as well. And schmooze and chat and find Mel and Marta and anybody else that looks friendly. So.
There's a lot of call and response in this, so if it's new to you, hopefully that will help. If it's not new to you, sing with a full voice to help your neighbor. I will open my eyes, I will open my eyes, I will not look away, I will not look away. I will use this gift I've been given every day. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world. I will give of myself.
I will give of myself.
I will reach out my hand.
I will reach out.
I will use this heart. I will use this heart I've been given to take a stand. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice will change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam she'asanu B'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam she'asanu B'tselem Elohim. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world. I will fight for the truth.
I will fight for the truth.
I'll stand up for what's right.
I'll stand up for what's right.
Use strength. I will use this strength I've been given to be alive. One last time, I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. We'll say Kiddush together on page 123. Please join with us.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lemaasei v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim.
And we'll say Motzi together. And if you're out there and you ever had a moment where you got a beer with Bob Uecker, I would love to hear that story. Les, I have a hunch. I'm looking at you or somebody else here. I bet somebody out there did. So tell me your best Bob Uecker story at the Oneg. Let's say Motzi together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Please join us in the foyer for an Oneg.
Shabbat shalom, friends.